Thank you for tapping the screen, Dawn. We be missing you. What's going on, beautiful people? It's your host, Drake B. Drake with Everything Culture, the podcast for all cultures, the podcast with a purpose. And our mission statement comes from the words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., which is he believed that men hate each other because they fear each other. They fear each other because they don't know each other. They don't know each other because of segregation. And because of segregation, we have miscommunication. So we created this podcast on the pillars of respect, communication, and consistency so we get to know each other so we can love one another. So thank y'all so much for being here this Sunday. We go live every Sunday, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, and we chop it up for what's been happening in the community, what's been happening in our world, what's going on in this upcoming weeks, and what we got planned for the show, and just check on our people. If you want to join us on here, you feel free to hop on the Zoom, or you can just join us in the chat. All of these things be welcome. Hello, Miss Brittany. How are we doing tonight?
Hi.
Please,
I'm doing,
safety first.
of course.
Okay, but how are we doing?
I'm doing good. I definitely
Good.
can't complain. Just left the pool, so I'm about to go chill out and start. Uh, finish formatting this book. So hopefully I'll have another one out this month.
Okay, we
We'll
dropping
see.
books. Okay, okay.
Look, your girl been working.
We love when we out here working. That's what we got to do. Hey, Keish. And hey, Lo, how's it going?
Lois tired.
I see. I see.
How
Mm,
y'all doing?
Hey y'all.
we blessed. We blessed. So, shout out to my folks on YouTube. I don't see anybody in the chat right now, but I see some people viewing. Y'all make sure to tap the screen. Just hit the likes, hit the comments, hit the hearts. All that's appreciated. Same thing on the TikTok. Thank y'all for being here and supporting. But man, before I go any further, they said not to mention their name, but shout out to the anonymous donor that gave a donation to Everything Culture. Man, we greatly appreciate that. Hey, we support the support. We love it. You feel me? But that type of support right there is amazing. Okay. We that is the top tier type of support we will say. Sharing the platform and giving to us and support that way. They gave you know, I ain't even gonna say the amount, but they gave a good, you know, donation. Many donations to come in the future as well, but we love it. We love it. So this week, what's been going on this week? Man, I hate being one of them people that say, I just been working. I've been doing some good work. I think I finished the last graduation of the season that I'm expected to be at. Okay. Shout out to all the graduates in the PMC court program here in Harris County. Mainly shout out to Judge Griffith, Katrina Griffith, and shout out to Judge Griffin. Yes, yes, yes. Much love to y'all. Great
She's
time
still there.
in Miss Cat Eyes. Oh yeah, she's still there. Still doing her thing, man. Shout out to my mentee, Demarius, man. A beautiful thing seeing this young man just persevere. When I think of him, I think of perseverance. Hey, Crystal. Now, he does a lot of complaining with that perseverance, but he make it happen though. Okay, so God bless him and what the work we're doing, with the work he's doing. He just got his bachelor's. Now he'll be working on his master's as well. So, amen to that. What we're talking about tonight, we are talking about Father's Day because we're not going to be on next Sunday. No live next Sunday, y'all. Um, we love y'all. We appreciate y'all, but we celebrating Boo next Sunday. If I do jump on, it'll be like a little ski taste, a little something small, but we'll be handling and celebrating baby, okay? As well as Happy Father's Day. Next Sunday's Father's Day as well. So shout out to my brothers out here that's making that difference and representing as the father that they are and the father to others as well. Much love to y'all. We will have a new episode. We was trying to put 2 episodes out this week, but we ain't gonna get to it. And I ain't gonna feel bad about it either. Because the people who support. And y'all know we put that work in. We got plenty of episodes for y'all still to go. I know I know y'all haven't watched every episode of Everything Culture, but we have a lot of episodes to put out over the next probably good 3 months. We got some on retainer. Let me tell you that right now. Okay. But and hey Christian, what's going on? What's up? What's happening with you? What's happening with you? Let's see you over there in the chat on the tube. But man, so what time is it? We ain't gonna be here long. So how do y'all feel about Pee Wee Herman? I'm gonna talk about that, then we're gonna get to Father's Day. Y'all remember Pee Wee Herman? Paul Rubens? I'm assuming say y'all saying yeah. I see some head nods and all that. Okay.
I think he was a pretty good actor.
Man, I think it goes well. So I didn't know the Pee Wee's Playhouse was an adult show before it was a children's show. Like they broke all that down. So I watched the documentary today, Pee Wee Herman as himself. So usually, I'm skipping a week this week because we ain't gonna be next Sunday. Today we were supposed to transition from, last week we talked about the impact. We still can't do that, but we ain't got a lot of time. The impact of reality TV transitioning to the impact of social media. Okay. So watching this documentary really had me pull back and look at this mindset in a different light. Okay. Because I'm looking at Hollywood in totality now. Not only Hollywood, I'm looking at every person now. What person are you representing? Are you representing yourself as low? Are you representing yourself as the person that low wants people to see? Are you representing yourself as Brittany? Or do you have a avatar that you want people to see? Okay. For instance, Paul Rubens, that's his actual name. He was an actor. He was big in the scene. He had a lot of connections coming up too. He was like in college and was friends with some folks like if you coming up in the 80s, 90s, Elvira, Gilbert Gottfried, some of these comedians and things. He never considered himself a comedian, but he considered himself a actor, and he was one of the first actors that really did sketch comedy. Okay. Or what's the other comedy that start with a P, I think. Um when they're steady on the move and things of that nature. They come up with the comedy off the top of their head. It's like freestyle comedy, freestyle
Improv.
sketch, improv. Yes. He was doing improvs like in the early 80s. All right. And he grew up as a Jewish man, Jewish family came over. His dad was a lot of machismo, macho, masculine representing individual. Then he transitioned, when he transitioned, he was a gay man at that. And his first love was a black man in art school, like in college. It was a lot of layers to him. All right. And he even says he got the idea of Pee Wee Herman, not the exact idea, but many of the jokes and behaviors from that black man. Like he owns up. He really got into detail because if you don't know, he passed away 2 years ago. I think in 2023 of cancer, and he was able to do this documentary, this biography on himself. That's why I love the makings of you. It was like a makings of you about him. He right before he passed away, he wanted to share this about himself, but he didn't. It was a lot of stuff he didn't want to talk about. Some stuff that he wanted a lot of control of how the story was told and back and forth, and he stopped it for like 2 years. And right before, like the day before he passed away, he gave the okay, like, hey, I want to go forward, like go ahead and release it. And 2 years later, we have this two-part documentary, like 3 hour watch. Okay. So get to the point is I just find it unique that I grew up knowing Pee Wee Herman for the most part. I love Pee Wee's Playhouse. That was my childhood. Okay. I want you to understand that was my upbringing. I think a lot of my humor come from Pee Wee's Playhouse. All right. with that being said, also when things started to come out about Pee Wee Herman, I was like, ooh, oh yeah. Please don't let me. Hey, I got to stretch a little bit. I got, I worked out in the back this week, but I would definitely bust out the dance. I got the whole, I got to get the knee. Hey, I know what I'm doing here. I used to do the dance. So I'm telling you, I was a huge Pee Wee Herman fan as a kid, but I didn't know nothing about Paul Rubin. Just about many of us did not know about Paul Rubin. And when he got into that trouble, and he talked about that, he had to hide who Paul Rubin was. Because in the mid to late 80s, early 90s, people may not accepted Paul Rubin, but they loved Pee Wee Herman. He made his whole career and life a character. He went on interviews as a character. He went to shows as a character. It would never show his real name unless it was the producing part. But everything had Pee Wee Herman, Pee Wee Herman, Pee Wee. If he wrote a book, it would be on a Pee Wee Herman. And being the individual that he was like, he started getting pissed off at himself, at Pee Wee Herman, other people that they know, like you could be on a show with him, you would think that's actually how he acted. That's just how he was, just real quirky, not knowing he's just doing a character. I started thinking about Michael Jackson. Yeah, I remember people say Michael Jackson's voice is really like isn't squeaky and high pitch, it's really deep. How people would love an image of you, and I really appreciate you for who you are. And the type of he once again it was spoken about how the psychological trauma that can come from that, trying to maintain that image. Mm. So, how many of us or how many people do you think? Ooh, Elmo. See, Elmo's different because you're looking at a Muppet. Like we can talk about the same thing, but Elmo is meant to be a character. But but when you see Elmo, you don't see the person behind Elmo. You got to think of when people see Crystal. Hey, Crystal. Hey, Tanya. How y'all doing? When people may see Crystal, they don't even know you about Crystal. They know you about what name? Shirlene Oaktree. That's what we gonna call you, right? That's gonna be the name, Shirlene Oaktree. Okay. You make this whole persona off of that, and it's not like you. It's nothing like you. And to the point that people when they finally see who you are, like when you like anybody can go in and play Elmo, you know what I mean? But everybody couldn't go in and play Pee Wee Herman. And hearing about his childhood and upbringing, his motivation, he didn't even intend on being a childhood star. It just landed him to that. And when he found out he was able to do it, he fell in love with it. Great movie. Well, great movie. Hold on. Person who puppeteer Elmo was villainized for being gay. Not only that, see, these kind of go hand in hand. He wasn't villainized for being gay. He was villainized for allegedly being a pedophile. A pedo. Okay, YouTube may be cool with this. I know TikTok be tripping, but and that's the same thing like we had with Paul Rubin. Paul Rubin, his first debacle, his first fall from fame was when he had the incident at the what do we call what do they call them? The exotic it was the exotic film show, exotic theater. Okay. Yeah, both of them was exonerated. Both of them were well of one charge. We'll get to, and they talked about that. Y'all need if y'all want to watch it, go watch it, go check it out. But all in all being said, he he had the issue when he was in a theater watching a dirty movie, what they would call it, and he was what they say manipulating his genital. Okay, that's what he was doing. That's what they said he was doing in the theater. He said the second part didn't happen, but he was in the theater. And then people says we don't want perverts or degenerates to be able to influence our children. Hey Jay, what's going on? You must be out and about. I know you're doing things. We miss you. We appreciate you, friend. So then it came to a point where he had the other issue when they raided his house and they said they found child images in his home. But when it was explained, he was exonerated of that because it was old stuff and it was like, I think he was using a collection. It was like magazines for like fitness for men. It wasn't for boys, but kind of found out it was a younger boy. And when they went to the court, now judge, not the judge, but the jury was able to see it. They're like, their intention was not that, but they were trying to tie both of them together because he was gay and he worked with kids, so he must be attracted to kids. That's what they were trying to put together, and I think they probably try to do the same thing to Elmo. So it's a lot to go into that. Okay, worst case is definitely Subway Jared. Jared was something. Jared was like, don't even get me started on Jared. Didn't Jared end up having was he didn't even lose weight through eating Subway? Didn't he have surgery or something too? Jared was a complete fraud. See, that's one thing being fraud, they exploit people, but with Paul Rubens, it was like, man, I'm trying to think of one thing I think of Michael Jackson. I may think of who somebody have to keep up a charade to who they are. I don't know. I would say Diddy, but Diddy was, I think I'm not surprised by anything that come out by Diddy. I think he was very intentional who he wanted to be, but people chose to ignore a lot of his behaviors. But that's just my interpretation of the situation. Gary Coleman, man, it's just so look at the people online. Look at the people on the internet. People, Manuel Lewis, yes. People want people want the image of what they want you to be. It doesn't even have to be on the internet, but it is so much more expanded and glamorized on the internet. It's so much extended here. People see me working out and they try to pigeonhole you or what they call this is your niche. I mean, if I'm talking about child protection, people want that's all you can talk about. I don't hear nothing else. If you're talking about race relations, that's all I want to hear you talk about. If you're talking about relationships, that's all I want to hear you talk about. They go see you as that always. It's kind of like when people when you're a kid and you see your teacher out in public, and you be like, hey, what you doing out here? Why are you at the grocery store? What you out here having dinner with? You have a family? The hell? These folks, that's how people still think. You're not supposed to be anything else but the teacher, and you're supposed to teach me language arts. That's it. Or social studies. That is it. That's how people act in real life. Not all, but many, I would say most. Some people that don't know how to differentiate a a person online. Listen, and that's where it get tricky because you can be an actor or actress, or the same difference as an actor. You could be an actor and people couldn't tell the difference between the role you're playing to who you really are. But now, when the role that you're playing is played in real life, social media, people are putting up characters. What's that couple name? That one of them, um, Charles. People would put up fake beef. See, I can't say Tyler Perry and Medea because he takes off. You've seen Tyler Perry. That's the point. You've seen Tyler Perry. You know it's a Tyler Perry and a Medea. But if Tyler Perry always played as Medea and everything, and you never knew the name of Tyler Perry, that is the extent that Paul Rubens was. I'm talking about even look oh, it's all on my timeline. I didn't try to mute it. It's on everywhere. They paying for it, they rolling. They got the spotlight right now. But Casanat, Duke Dennis, and the AMP crew. young. Well, I say semi-young. They in their 30s are living life right now. But now all this stuff is coming out about Duke Dennis having baby mamas, having this, and that. Listen, that ideology when people can't separate, and some people they don't separate their personal life, they try to hide some things, but it's so far you can go. And going back, and like you said, Chris will say why a lot of gay people stay in the closet. And once again, in the 80s and the 90s, oh, crazy work. I was watching something when they talking about Ellen DeGeneres when her first show came out. She didn't come out. We have to understand we live in a culture now of a generation that we're in where people can actually be more of themselves. They have the ability to be more of themselves. For right now, things may change in the next 5 to 10 years. Pay attention, everybody. But culture is much different than it was when I graduated from high school 20 years ago. And I try to tell some young folks, like, y'all better get out and vote, pay attention. Things were mighty different. Things that you find to be normal was extremely abnormal 20 years ago. And a lot of folks want to change some things around too. So when we have these conversations here with Everything Culture, we love to get the feedback of everyone. It's like, man, if you're looking at someone online, think of your like Tabitha Brown. Ah, y'all know I love me some Tab. Auntie Tab. Okay. If I find out she's a whole different person than she is in real life and she's been putting up an act because she is an actress, I wouldn't be disappointed. I'll be. That's the thing. I don't know about disappointed. I would appreciate the character she represented, as long as she's not a terrible person in real life. But I assume she got a good family, everything's good. Because I know people are people at the end of the day. And I believe with Paul Rubens as a kid, when he did the whole thing in the movie theater, I was like, man. So they made sure to show the picture of what he looked like outside of Pee Wee Herman. Pee Wee Herman had a hell of a lot of makeup on. He was super goofy and all that. And when I started seeing him in different movies, I like, oh man, that's cool. I could have still value him, but it kind of had a little bit break of it was not a it was like a break into reality. It broke the delusion. And it wasn't a bad break. I can accept when things don't look the way it is. But in this day and age, once again, as we were talking about reality TV last week, when they go into social media now, social media it wants us to stay fooled. We have a president that was a reality TV star that's online beefing with somebody else like it's on a reality TV show right now. But what's real and what's fake now? I keep saying we got AI and all these things going, that's advancing. But as far as the relationships and the connections we should have with one another, I think that is digressing. That's why I think we lose respect for the actual individual and human being. And because we're so attached to a certain persona that we must hold on to, that we forget that we try to make a relationship with someone else. But that's just my opinion, because people don't like that's why I really appreciate the donation that's going back to that the person sent to me, because they said it because I'm genuinely who I am in love with what I'm doing. And I know that once again, if you're out here doing that, it's hard to do because every day I look up and somebody find out they faking and shaking. If you ever met me, if you know me in real life, y'all know this who I am. This is who I be. And it was another content creator talking about. I see some of these folks going crazy right now because trying to hold up to that standard, and that's even Pee Wee Herman, Paul Rubens. Imagine you people loving your persona. You feel me, Brit? You feel me? Locked in for lifers. Like what's Drewski? I think Drewski, when he's able, people look at Drewski, but when he find out that if that's not, but he's a comedian. But when they find out that's not his thing, he's really a different person. But you got to keep that. You have to keep that act up. It's work now. It's work. But that's just me. That's just my opinion. Just like these, again, I can say these folks out here giving relationship advice left and right, and that's an act they putting in. People may put up an act. They're here to separate relationships and be divisive relationships. The whole time they in a happy relationship and they don't take any of the advice they give. Hey Roxy, how you been, friend? Hold on, let me see if they give me the heart. You can say, but listen, do people love Derek Jackson? Did people look? What's the one? May he rest in shit. Lord forgive me. Like, what's the other one? The older dude. The one that was bashing black women and black men, and yeah, Canvas Samuels. And everything, man, once again, was what you thought he was? But once again, people like an image. People don't like real. People do not like authenticity. Most people do not like genuineness. People like imagination. Men and women. Men will go to a strip club to build an imaginary relationship with a woman. They give them a little attention. They would pay good money for it. That's why AI is going to be successful. It's tiresome, but people that's we that could be us. You know, it's not going to be an easy road for the people who are set apart. Women like getting sweet nothing whispered in their ear. Like you can sit back and like, oh, that motherfucking lying. At least they lying to me. I appreciate the lie. Some people comfortable with that. Who are we to judge? You know what I mean? People out here still believing Harriet Tubman is not a real person and an underground railroad actually underground railroad. That happened this week, y'all. That happened. Y'all didn't hear about it. I'm sorry y'all had to hear from me. And that's why I'm gonna have to be so careful that we cannot take advice or just even listen to many people out here. Because now we have people where you can pay for followers. You can buy an account. But we see people that's more that don't we don't once again we don't want to do our own research. We don't want to take the time and read anymore. We don't want to take the time to build a relationship. And the only thing we can do is try to be a better you. Be a better you. That's it. What am I doing better? It is a wild world out here. And I know we was going to talk about Father's Day because we will not be back once again for the folks who joined it. We will not be live next Sunday. We will be handling business, okay? But man, when I tell you, I'm just so grateful for y'all coming in here. Once again, we got Brittany, we got Lo, we got Crystal, we got Tanya, and we have Roxy and Miss Cat Eyes in the chat. But it's just one of the things that being mindful of what we have and how the culture is shifting and how I'm looking at a lot of more Pee Wee Hermans out there. How many more Pee Wee Hermans we have out here? How many Paul Rubens do we have? And how many Pee Wee Hermans do we have? Yeah, understand when you fall from that grace, when people find out who you really are, and that's the beautiful thing. When he found out with people who would appreciate him at a certain time, things in society had to change. Don't get me wrong. But when they found out who he was a lot more accepted. But think about it, Pee Wee Herman, what they still on it. What's the miss? I don't be watching all the kids. Hey Sophie, the kid shows and all that. But one of the kid show director missed something coming out to be, is it Bluey? No, it was one of the real ones found out to be gay. And people are, I don't know about that. Miss Rachel. Okay, is that Miss Rachel? Is that the one that we're talking about? Um, Same thing if if finding out with teachers, if I have an OnlyFans, something like that, degenerate behavior is not welcome here. But this person won Teacher of the Year, and you loved them before you found out they were doing it in their personal life. But that's a conversation about culture another day we can have because we didn't hit 30 minutes. YouTube. We ain't, like I said, we ain't gonna be on here all night. This could be a short one. You know how you can find us at Everything Culture. It's a A, not a I. You know, we love y'all. We appreciate y'all. Make sure to like, share, comment, share this platform everywhere you can. Don't be selfish. Share the love. Once again, the best way to support is to share, leave a comment, leave a review, talk to us, communicate. And you know, you can go to our website at www.everythingculture.com where you can click a link where it had that PayPal account and you can leave a dollar donation. It goes a long way. You can be a subscriber there as well, but you can find us anywhere you type in Everything Culture. But we want to say we appreciate y'all. We're thankful for y'all. And we'll talk to y'all later. Peace. Mm-mm.